Hello everybody and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program, where we are about to send a crewed mission well, not technically to Duna, to Ike. We'll also be sending one to Duna, but that's later on down the road. I'm not sure exactly how we're going to pull that one off yet. I think we've got the Delta V in this to get this there and back again. I hope. So let's find out. Only one way to do this. Let's go. Okay. I'm like 95% certain that we've got it. We're about 40 tons heavier than the lander, but we also have... We had tons of wasted fuel in the rover, so I think we're okay. And we have a bunch of extra fuel up here as well. So all things considered, we should be able to do this. So let's go. We've got Jeb and Bill and Bob. And off we go. I am going to go ahead and open the service bay and run an atmospheric analysis. We will keep this, close the service bay, and I will go ahead and, if I can grab it here, collect from the experimental storage unit. Excellent. Okay, so we've got our atmospheric analysis. We're not going to grab an EVA report flying low. That's kind of a bad idea. So that's not going to be a thing. And up we go. This is a very tall rocket. I'm a little bit concerned about potential flippage. We're also relatively top-heavy up here. Oof. Yeah, look at that. RCS, we don't have any of that. I was a little concerned about that. In fact, I was a lot concerned about that. Okay. Let's go ahead and revert this back to vehicle assembly then. So, the reason that happened is because we have a lot of fuel up here, and we're quite top heavy. So, what if, hypothetically, we were to toss in an extra, not a Kerbodyne, an extra Jumbo 64 fuel tank on each of these over here. Four-way symmetry, like so. We've still got plenty of thrust to weight here for Kerbin, I think. Plenty-ish. That'll be fine. Okay, and now let's go ahead and put on some strut connectors, like so. Grab these strut connectors that are already up here and just, whoop, that'll be fine. Connect them. Nope, that didn't work. Connect them like that. There we go. Well, that should move our center of mass down substantially. Let's see here. Center of mass here. Yeah, that should be a lot better. These do need liquid fuel and oxidizer. Of course, this does increase the weight extremely substantially. So let's call this the Snedgus Mark... Is this at this point a Mark 6? I don't think it is. I think this is just an update of the Mark 5. This does give us, I think, slightly more Delta V. 500 meters per second. Yeah, it gives us slightly more Delta V. Let's go ahead and not save this and reopen this guy. Really? Let's go ahead and reopen this guy. There we go. That's more like it. Okay. So yeah, that's only like 500 Delta V, but even so, that might be 500 Delta V that we need. So let's see if this thing flips, shall we? With having all of that extra weight down towards the bottom, I'm not as concerned about flippage. We do have a reaction wheel down there, right? Yeah, we've got this guy. Okay, so we're going to need to rerun that atmospheric analysis on the way up. So let's go ahead and open the service bay. Engage autopilot. Up we go. Atmospheric analysis. Keep. And we will go ahead and collect all. And close our service bay. There we go. Excellent. So let's see if this guy flips. Theoretically, I don't think it will. The reason it was flipping before, I'm pretty sure, is because of all of the weight up here. But with this here, that centralizes our weight significantly more and pulls it center of mass to be here-ish. You can see it's rotating around that point. We may have to have a different ascent path. But so far so good. Are we over-yawing? Not so far. Having a bit of roll authority issues, but that's not unusual for MechJeb. Major roll authority issues. Again, not unusual for MechJeb. Now we're yawing the other direction. That's a little exciting. I think this is pretty much exclusively a MechJeb issue. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to revert this back to launch, and I'm going to manually do this. We're not going to use the MechJeb ascent guidance, and we'll see if I'm able to do what MechJeb cannot. So for right now, we're just going to be... In fact, I'm not even going to use MechJeb at all. I'm going to use purely vanilla for this. So let's go ahead and open up our service bay here. We'll need to do that. Throttle up. Up we go. Atmospheric analysis. Keep. Close the service bay. Collect the... Nope, we want to keep that. Collect all the data, and excellent. So I'm going to keep us going straight up for a while here. We don't need all of this data from Flight Engineer. Just the orbital data will be enough. Okay. So we're going to keep going just exactly straight up until we reach a relatively rapid speed. For this thing, probably around 200. I'm just making that up. But we'll see how it goes with 200 meters per second. So right about now we will start just ever so slightly angling towards the horizon. Correct our attitude ever so slightly here. There we go. See how that works. Okay, pitch over a little less. We are through max Q. We are already starting to yaw over a little bit. Okay, pitch a little more. We recovered. Apoapsis is pretty high. We need to be pitching fairly substantially at this point. But I gotta keep this very careful. I'm gonna go ahead and open our service bay and grab an atmospheric analysis. Keep that, close our service bay. And then collect all of our data. There we go. Apoapsis height is already basically in space. So let's go ahead and tip on over. We are through the thickest portion of the atmosphere at this point. So we need to be going pretty heavily to horizontal velocity up. And I'm going to go ahead and use Smart ASS for that. Okay. Excellent. We're at 120 kilometer apoapsis right now, so I'm going to go ahead and cut our fuel, at least until we hit space. And then I'm going to do a maneuver node here. Just increase our periapsis to... I mean, that's close enough. Yeah. That should be fine. Okay, and we'll let MechJeb do that. Now that we're in space, we're fine. So, maneuver planner. Actually, just circularize at the next apoapsis. There we go. Easy peasy. Execute next node. So essentially we just did the atmospheric part manually, and now MechJeb can handle the circularization from here. I'm going to go ahead and physics warp up. We actually have a little bit extra here, but that's because we went very fast vertically and not as fast horizontally as MechJeb would have wanted to do. We're going to pay for that here in a moment, but it'll be fine. There we go. And then we'll just detach this, our side tanks right now. There we go. Beautiful. Okay, and now we finish our circularization. I mean, realistically, we could just keep burning prograde. There's no real reason not to, I think. Okay, as soon as this is done here... Yeah, I think we just keep burning prograde. I'll do that manually, not even a maneuver node. What could go wrong? But the good news is, we are well on our way. The bad news is, we're going to be burning up this stage relatively soon. I think. We might be able to do a bit of braking with this stage. No, I don't think we will. We're going to be using our maneuver stage pretty quickly. I mean, that's not a huge surprise, considering this is a fair amount heavier of a payload. Okay. There we go. We don't need to do anything near Kerbal. Just switch over to kill rot for now. Actually, let's just go straight to prograde. Like I was saying. Let's just get out of here. About 900 meters per second to get out. And I'll be just manually cutting power to the engines as soon as we have an escape velocity, which will be a while from now. Come on. It is exponential, so it'll be pushing out faster and faster. There we go. Now it's starting to speed up. Come on. You can get there. There we go. Fantastic. Little further. There. And we are out. And we'll probably be, what, around here-ish? No, I have no idea where we'll be. Okay, let's go ahead and just warp up here. We are out of here. Jeb, Bill, and Bob are on their way. So that is fantastic. We're not going to bother with a inclination burn. We're going to do the same thing we did with the last one and combine that together. And we're just going to try to target as efficient of a transfer window as we can. Yeah, you can stop that. You can be quiet. Because I'm a little bit worried about Delta V for this. So we're going to just be going for efficiency here. I mean, I'm not sufficiently worried that I launched in a launch window, but, you know, it's fine. Okay, set Duna as target. Omen transfer to target. Create node. What do we got? Okay. That's not so bad. Where's our maneuver node? Over here? Gotcha. Why don't you come down a bit? I think down a bit more would be good. Yeah, I like that. Okay. Now, are we going the correct direction? We are not. Can we go the other direction with this burn? Looks like we can't. So I guess we just do this as efficiently as possible, which would mean getting as small of an encounter as we can. Which looks like it would be basically right here. Okay. 834 meters per second. Let's do this. Execute that node in 1 year and 91 days. I hope these guys like each other. I believe Jeb, Bill, and Bob are all brothers, so that should, you know, go well. Got some nice waggling going on there. We're gonna not let that be a thing for very much longer. We've only got 9.6 seconds of burn left in this tank anyway, so it'll be fine. So we're gonna have ourselves several hundred days of coast. That'll be fine. As soon as we get over here, we're just going to do a braking burn. I don't think we're going to need to change our inclination much. So we're going to try to circularize out here, and then just do a Hohmann transfer as far as possible. And then a braking burn in here. We've got plenty of delta V to pull this off. I'm not concerned about that anymore, in the slightest. We don't have any Comnet connection currently, but that's fine. We're not worried about that. Since we have a crew, we can do whatever we want. The crew can do whatever. We've got another 300 days left in this warp until we get to our burn location. And then once we're here, like I said, we're just going to try to get in here very, very efficiently. I mean, now that we're actually here and haven't touched our nuclear stage, I'm not concerned. Like, we can do most of our landing with this nuclear stage, that's the idea. And then once we have that done, then this will primarily be a return stage. We'll dip into it a tiny bit, probably, with the landing. We'll just eject this. I wish that I had thought this through. Because one thing we could have done is have some of these tanks be empty, a fuel line running from here to here-ish, or just something that allows fuel cross-flow, and then flow in liquid fuel into these empty tanks. That's something we could have done. And that's something we might want to think about doing for actually landing on Duna, to get there even more efficiently. Because we are definitely going to have some issues with Duna. I don't know what the delta V, or rather the thrust to weight of an atomic rocket motor is on Duna. That's something I'll need to look into. We're just about done with this stage. Right about now. Get out of here. There we go. And now I'm going to go ahead and physics warp this, since we don't want to be sitting here burning for 9 minutes. Okay. And then we're going to get up here in how long? 294 days. Okay. That's not the worst. Flight engineer is kind of over top of things, as it tends to be. We don't need a materials study over the sun, but we are going to need to have several EVAs from, who is our scientist? Bob? Yeah, we're going to need several EVAs. The reason why I did not send Valentina on this flight, by the way, is because if this ends up being a one-way trip, we don't want both of our experienced pilots to die in it. So yeah, it's going to be interesting, to be sure. We've got another 5 minutes left in this burn. Our thrust to weight out here over the sun is really, really low with this thing, with the NERV atomic rocket motor. That's okay. We are deeply unconcerned about getting there. I'm still slightly concerned about getting back, but if we can land and only use like 100 delta V or less from this, then I'll be happy and be like, yeah, we can totally do this. If we end up using 1,000, I'll be like, but anywhere between 100 and 1,000 should be okay. And we're going to be able to use most of this fuel while landing. Well, not even most of it. We're going to mostly land using this, like we did with the rover. It's going to be similar to that. Okay, so this burn is just about over. And how is our encounter looking? Well, we don't have one yet. Okay, there it is. And that's what happens when you place it basically exactly. So let's go ahead and add a braking maneuver. Oop. No, I said braking maneuver, not sneezing maneuver. Ugh, that's not what I'm looking for at all. This actually gets us an Ike encounter. That's really interesting. Yeah, let's do it. Where do we have to be for it? That's plenty high. What do we got, Ike? Oh yeah, look at that. That's nice. I like it. We'll execute that. That's absolutely fantastic. Don't really have to invert or anything like that. We just get ourselves an encounter due to a hyperbolic trajectory. That's fine. Very, very efficient there. We'll have to do a pretty big braking burn, but that's fine. We have tons of delta V. I hope. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and zoom out because that's a little dizzying. There we go. Where are we at currently? We are currently right here. Fantastic. And we will be there in about 200 days. So I think about the time that we get there is going to be about the time to put an episode cut in. So what I'm thinking is going to be kind of the cadence of this is going to be, we get there in this episode, we do the actual landing in the next episode, and then we get home the episode after that. It's kind of what I'm thinking right now. Also, this is exciting. Just flickering around. I love it. So yeah, we're going to be able to get our braking burn. We're going to be able to get our encounter. I don't know if we'll be able to actually orbit Ike this episode. We're getting pretty close to the end, but we're also getting pretty close to orbiting Ike. Who knows? Here we are. We're going to be doing our burn momentarily in about a day. Excellent. We don't have a crew report over the Midlands. We'll keep that. We don't have an EVA report from In Space High either, or a materials study. So after this burn, we'll grab those. Come on, burn. You can do this. MacJeb. There we go. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and warp up. We'll grab our materials study for now. So we'll keep this experiment. And we will collect all. There we go. And then after this burn, we're going to run an EVA report from In Space High over Duna. And then we are also going to... Just wondering. Did we... There's a barometer there. We do have a surface scanning module. That's interesting. I'm just wondering if I had included a gravioli detector in this. Rechargeable battery pack. Seismic accelerator. Thermometer. Surely I included a gravioli detector. I wouldn't think that I would not do something like that. I don't know. Maybe there isn't one. Well, whatever. We got most of that data from the lander, so it's fine. If there isn't one. And we're almost to the point where we don't need science anymore, so there's that too. Almost all the way through the tech tree. So we've got 2 things that we need to do as soon as this burn is done, and I think I'm going to do both of them in this episode. But this burn is going to take another 3 minutes in real time. You know what? I am going to go ahead and put a cut in here, and next episode, I'll take care of all that. So next episode, we will be landing this thing on the surface of Ike. See you all then.